Last time on Out Chasing Stars, we spent 13 days at sea, sailing from St. Helena to Recife, Brazil. The passage got off to a pretty terrible start when our spinnaker furler got jammed up, the bowsprit block exploded, the tack line chafed through, and the spinnaker fell in the water as we tried to get it down. Fortunately, things can't get much worse than that, and the rest of the passage was fairly uneventful. We did our best to manage wind shifts and arrived at the Cabanga Yacht Clube just in time for one of the biggest parties in the world.
Look like you're getting ready to go out.
Yeah, we're gonna go party it up.
It's party time.
Right? I sound really cool saying that.
It's totally our normal mode of operation.
Right. David and I are not big partiers, but when in Brazil during Carnival, we're gonna go head out and see what life is like in Recife and Antigo.
Yeah, so we did try to clear into the country today, but it's Carnival. Everything's closed, so...
we tried to do a lot of things today, and yeah, it was not uber productive, and that was not a lack of trying on our part. So, we're
time
we're
to
gonna
decompress
go
and go party, huh?
Exactly.
Alright, well, I don't think we're taking the big camera, so we'll see what we can get from this, but...
Yeah.
Gonna go have a good time.
Have a few Brazilian drinks, and some, well, I'll have some drinks. David will be my designated arm candy.
That is my best role in life.
And then we'll eat some Brazilian food and listen to some Brazilian music and have a great time in general.
That sounds wonderful.
Recife Antigo is literally the oldest part of Recife. The island was pretty empty when we'd wandered around a bit during the day, but now the crowds were coming. The party peaks late at night, so we were definitely early, but there was still plenty to see and experience. Throughout the city streets, minor parades called blocos made their way through the crowds of pedestrians. Nothing is blocked off, so the blocos and people seemingly become one big parade, playing music and dancing together. What do you think of Carnival?
A lot like Mardi Gras.
Yeah, it's one hell of a party, huh?
A lot of smaller parades, though. Like, yeah. But the music is awesome. And everybody's just kind of...
Just grooving and having a good time, huh?
Yeah.
What'd you find yourself?
I got myself some Brazilian drink. A caipirinha.
With a little extra something, huh?
Very sweet.
It was an absolute blast being surrounded by such joyful energy. All the blocos had unique themes, but I think our favorite was the giant dolls, the bonecos gigantes of Olinda. These were made of paper mache and are all famous people. Most we recognized and some we didn't, but we enjoyed watching them twirl and dance above the crowd. We were still tired from having just completed our passage, so we called it a night pretty early by Carnival standards, but this was still an amazing introduction to Brazil. Once Carnival was over, the country opened up again, so we were able to officially clear in. That was a good thing, as our friend Hans had a special surprise in store for us.
You look a little confused wearing your life jacket on shore, babe.
Sure, I'm confused. We are actually in the port of Sawaté with Hans, who's a pilot here, and he's going to take us on 2 maneuvers today. So we're going to get on some of the big ships.
The big ships? That's going to be awesome.
The first maneuver was aboard the MSC Zhong Min, a 300-meter cargo ship that was so big she required 2 pilots for this port. We'd be taking her from the dock out to sea, but we still had to board her from the pilot boat. It was calm inside the harbor, so this was good practice, but Hans and his colleague went first to show us how it was done. One at a time, we stood at the bow of the pilot boat as the skipper maneuvered us close to the ladder. Hans cautioned us to take our time and only make the move when we were ready, but when we did jump onto the rope ladder, we had to do it decisively. Each time, the pilot boat backs away from the ship, so if you fall, you don't get crushed. It was a bit daunting, but the Admiral sure looked like a badass climbing that ladder. Once we were all safely aboard, the crew led us up to the bridge, and there was no time wasted getting underway.
Okay, Hans, tell us what we're doing first.
Well, we just let go the lines, and now we will get the ship away from the berth, and we'll turn it here on this turning basing, which is quite narrow for that, but we will
It's
try
going to be
it.
a tight fit, huh?
Yeah, it's a tight fit, but it has been done before.
Okay, I have faith in you.
Yeah, thank you.
Isn't that incredible?
It is amazing.
It looks pretty damn close up there.
It's very surreal because it just feels weird. It's not what you expect it to be, I guess. This is
Slow
the
and
bow,
steady.
and it's really slow, and you can't see anything in front of it.
As soon as the ship was safely out of the harbor, it was time to depart, which meant going back down the ladder onto the pilot boat. The second maneuver was aboard the MSC Barcelona, which was heading into the port from out at sea. She's slightly smaller at 270 meters, so this time it would just be Hans and us. In our day-to-day boating life, the hardest part is close quarters maneuvering. Honestly, being out at sea can be a bit boring at times, but around the dock, dropping anchor, or navigating small channels, that's where things can go wrong. So that's what a pilot's job is, the hardest part of handling a ship. It was fascinating watching Hans work, calmly relaying instructions to the crew and coordinating with the tugboats over the radio. These ships don't exactly stop on a dime, so everything was done slowly. Yet even with that, it still took obvious skill to park her in exactly the right place. We've been having some fun in Brazil so far, but it's work time. Always seems to be the case. This time, it's going to be some sail repairs. We're going to be rolling out the screecher. We've got a little bit of stitching we need to do on that. Double check the spinnaker, make sure she's all good after the whole dropping in the water incident. But another thing we just discovered is that the furler mechanism around the forestay, the extrusions, what they're called, kind of the aluminum pipes that run up and down the stay, seem to have separated. That's not good, and it looks like it might even be ripping the Genoa just a little bit. So we're going to be dropping that down and might have to try to machine something to fix the whole furler mechanism, but we need to drop the sail down, drop the whole forestay down to double check this to start with. So we're going to be working on dropping everything this morning. With the rip in the sail, I wanted to be super cautious about getting it down on the deck, so we asked some friends on the dock to help us out. I had to physically hold the extrusions in line, but even still, it was a pain to get the sail down. But as would be a theme with this project, we eventually figured it out. As I had kind of feared, this is turning into a very difficult project. I knew that in order to get the forestay off, we would have to get some of the tension out of the rig. So we loosened the turnbuckles on the cap shrouds and we tightened down the spinnaker halyard up on the bowsprit until it was creaking and groaning, made me nervous. We then we got the cotter pin out carefully. Then we tried to get the clevis pin out, and there was still so much tension on the damn rig that it basically got stuck and bent the metal attachment plate. So that's not so great. We then had to like really loosen up the turnbuckle, so much so that I was kind of afraid they were gonna unscrew completely. Tighten down that spinnaker halyard even further, really making me nervous, but we finally were able to get it free. Now I have to go up to the top of the mast and undo it up there. We gotta lower the whole assembly down, try to get it on the dock without losing anything in the water. Get it inside the cap shroud so we can take it down the deck to get to the dock. This is, it's being a pain in the ass. Once again, we needed some help, but we found a way. We've got the entire thing down on the deck now. Of course, it is so long that we wouldn't really be able to turn it and get it on the dock completely. So it's supported back there, and I'm going to try to get this drum off as fast as I can. This is the bearing holder that is causing the trouble. You can pretty clearly see some of the set screw holes have been stripped out pretty good. That's a problem, and since I'm not 100% sure how to get this thing off of the stay, that's another problem. So we might be able to reuse a couple of these holes, and I might have to drill new ones to add new set screws. Should be a bit tricky without being able to get this thing off, but since I'm not sure I'm going to be able to replace the whole stay, I think this is going to be our best option. See if there's someone around here who might know a bit more than I do, but I've been told maybe not. Day 2 of this project now, and I think my brain was a little cooked from being out in the sun all day yesterday. I just had one of those moments, middle of the night, wake up, boom, literally light bulb gone off, and I realized there is a way to get this bearing holder off of the stay. So that's good. Let me show you. Here we've got the bearing holder. If I turn it over, you can see in here these are the bearings. Now, what I was missing yesterday, there's these little grooves on the top. You just kind of align them with this, and boink, there it goes. Slides right out. Now the bearing holder comes out of the stay. Yeah, brain was a little cooked yesterday. Everything's now taken off. That's a good sign. I have tried to kind of label these so I know where in the furling order they go. Now I just need to find a machine shop that can hopefully help repair things. Having a local friend proved invaluable once again, as Hans has a contact with a full machine shop set up in his garage. Hans helped translate what needed to be fixed into Portuguese, and while the work was done, we focused on our sails. All the parts for the furler are now out at the machine shop getting worked on, so we were taking this opportunity. That's the entire Genoa laid out. We've got a little bit of stitching repair work that we need to do, which we were planning on doing anyways, and where the furler had kind of ripped a little bit of the sail, we got to touch that up a little bit as well. So at least they have a very nice big space for us here to do that at the yacht club. The nearest sail loft was in Sao Paulo, about 37 hours away by car. Hans did have a local contact with a sewing machine that could work on sails, but unfortunately, he was out on vacation. That meant it was time to practice our hand stitching. All done, babe?
All done. We got the worst parts of the stitching redone, and hopefully they will last us until we get back up to the States.
Yeah, still a few thousand miles to go, unfortunately, so we better have done good.
Yeah. These sails are 5.5 years old and have over 40,000 miles under them, so they're getting old. Definitely for sure, like, they would need restitching at the very minimum, a full restitching. Yeah. But for now, we've patched it and it'll be good to go.
Good to go. Now just fold it up so we can deploy it.
Yeah, we gotta fold it up so that we can easily like hank it back on, so.
That'll be a neat trick in itself.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to it.
Okay.
It took a bit of discussion to figure out the best way, but we eventually got the Genoa all folded up. Then we found time to look at our spinnaker, and to my absolute amazement, even though we dumped it in the water, there was no damage whatsoever. All of the boat work was tilting our fun to suck ratio out of whack, so we took a quick trip up to Olinda and did some exploring. This is a beautiful part of old Brazil and was just what the doctor ordered. When we got back, I couldn't believe what was waiting for us.
I have to admit, I am absolutely just stunned right now that we have the extrusions back, the bearing holders seem to be fixed, and it's like one day after I dropped them off. That is just, I was expecting we were going to be here for a week, two, who knows how long, dealing with the machine shop. Just was not expecting a one-day turnaround. It's pretty amazing. Hans has worked miracles for us for damn sure. But we've got everything. It looks like it fits all together very well. I am now going to put all the extrusion and the furlers back together so we can see if it's all going to fit properly, put the furler back on, and then we'll put everything back on up. It is the day of truth today. I have gotten the whole furler forestay thing all put back together. We just have to get it back up and installed in place. Everything looks pretty good, pretty solid. I'm very pleased with the work the machine shop did, so it's all good. The problem is the forestay is much longer than the length of Starry Horizons, so in order to get the head of the forestay up in between the cap shroud and the spreaders, we have to kind of move the whole assembly forward on the boat, but that puts the foot of the forestay almost in the water. So we're gonna have a couple friends come over, help us out, see if we can get everything put back up in place without any damage, anything too much in the water. It's gonna be a bit tricky, but we'll get it figured out.
This was definitely a tricky maneuver, and there's no way we would have been able to do it alone. The cruising community really is an awesome one. Very carefully, we threaded the needle, so to speak, and managed to get everything back into place.
We have got everything put back up. I'm honestly kind of amazed. It was a little bit of a challenge. We needed all four of us, but I can't believe it's actually up. I was really freaking nervous about it, I'm not gonna lie. I've got the drum reassembled, so that's all looking good. The cap shrouds are tightened to as tight as they're supposed to be again, so everything is all good. The problem is just now that the wind has picked up a little bit, and don't think we want to try putting the Genoa, hoisting that up well. It's a little windy, so we may wait till later tonight or early tomorrow morning to do that, the final piece of the project, but hopefully that's the easy part. Hopefully. It is the final day of truth. The winds were too high yesterday, so we waited, and it is relatively early morning. We just woke up, trying to take advantage of light winds. We've got the Genoa all laid out. We've got the furler all ready. The halyard is attached. The sheet is on. Just have to raise it up now, and it still has that little cut and rip in the left rope and the sail. We just weren't able to figure out a way to get that fixed here in Brazil without potentially jamming up the track and all that. So we're just gonna keep a very, very close eye on it as needed, but Genoa going up, time.
We learned a whole lot during this project, and while this was by far the easiest part, I still breathed a big sigh of relief when it was done.
As you can see behind me, the Genoa is up. Gotta admit, that feels really damn good. It's always nervous when we start a project. We're just not 100% sure we're gonna be able to complete successfully. But you know, we gotta find a way. There's no other alternative. So it's up. That just means we're waiting on a water maker part right now, and then I think we could be ready to leave Brazil. We have a box.
What's in the box?
DHL.
What's in the box?
nothing quite that exciting, unfortunately. But this is the check valve for our water maker that we have been needing. The old one has been kind of working. The O-ring has been disintegrating a little bit, which hasn't been maintaining pressure. So we've been struggling with air. Yeah, we want water, we don't want air. We want, this will prevent air from getting back into the system, so that's good. I just need to go up. This is a very easy swap. I just have to undo a hose or two, screw this in, and we're good to go.
Easy peasy.
Ta-da! All finished. Literally about a 30-second job to take it apart, screw in the new one, and the testing of it took a little bit longer to do a freshwater flush, but that means all boat projects here in Brazil are done. Let me amend that just a little bit. We still have to get some fuel. Got a long ways to go up to the Caribbean, but we are ready to go do all our clearances. So tomorrow morning, we're gonna go to the port captain, the federal police, customs, some order of those, and then we'll come back and we've got a fuel truck that's gonna be coming to the marina at 3 p.m. We have to move over to kind of a temporary dock. And we have to time it just right because the tides here are pretty big with the full moon at the moment. And if it is low tide, we're bottomed out and cannot move. So we're gonna go on kind of a rising tide, should get the fuel, should be able to leave at exactly high tide, which gives us plenty of water to get out through that bit of a shallow channel. And then we'll be ready to go towards the Caribbean. Looks like we're on the move.
We are. We're not quite ready to go yet. One of the bad things about Cabenga is that they don't have a fuel dock. And we ordered a fuel truck, and apparently they came yesterday, and like, we weren't there, so they just left. So now we're going to this yacht club.
Recife Yacht Club.
Recife Yacht Club.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're expecting us. It's 4:15, so we want to fill up and go.
Yeah, last step in Brazil. We've done all the clearance. That was pretty easy. Everything was going a little bit too easy, maybe. But,
gotta have a snag somewhere.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go get some diesel.
Okay.
And then vamos!
Time to vamos.
There was probably some lost in translation moments in Portuguese at fault, but all that I cared about was that we eventually managed to organize a place to get some fuel. It may not have been the nicest fuel dock in the world, but the diesel was clean, and with Starry Horizons all topped up, it was time to set sail for the Caribbean.
Hey everyone! Hope you enjoyed a little insight into Recife, Brazil, and first and absolutely most importantly, a huge thank you to Hans and his family for hosting us, taking us out being pilots for a day. I mean, how freaking cool was that? It was one of the most amazing experiences we had on our entire circumnavigation. Carnival, amazing, everything it was cracked up to be, and there's no way we would have finished all those boat projects without Hans helping us out, finding all the local people we needed to get that done. So just an amazing stop in Brazil, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but our next two videos are the last passage of our circumnavigation. So you guys had better stick around, check those out. We'll see y'all next time.